Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a special edition of the channel because you know I do like my reviews. Well, I hate to disappoint. So, what have we got here? Let's have a look. I'm sure the title is a bit of a giveaway, but who doesn't love the excitement of an unboxing? So, here we go. We have the new Shotscope X5. So I'm going to unbox it and I'm going to have a look at it and I'm going to compare it to the V3, which is what we use already. So I'm just going to do a quick look at the initial thing. There's the boxes, the V2 and the V3 and the X5. So it's a lot sleeker. I must admit, I do actually like the design of the V3. You know, when you kind of do lift the lid off, it kind of feels like it's a bit more special. So that's the first. It's only a box, I know, but that's the first observation. I do prefer the other box, but it is a more compact box, which I suppose is better for postage, etc. So upon opening the box, there's the watch. So let's take it out and have a look. It's a bit fancy looking. I hope it's got some charge in it so I can show you what it looks like. So we've gone for the black strap purely because there was a bigger waiting time for, I think there's grey, white, there's grey and white, possibly red as well, but the black ones are available straight away. So again, looking at the first off, now the first thing to note is it is a different charger. So there's your charger for your V3, and there's your charger for the X5. But do you know what? On first look, it's actually a lot more ergonomically pleasing. Big word for me, I know. But when you look at the profile of both of the watches, if I can get this one right, it's more curved. So I think that's going to sit on the wrist a lot better. There's only way I'm going to find out. Let's have a look. So this is actually, Neil's going to use this one and try it out. So we'll see what's what. Now it has got a new designed clasp on it. And already actually it does feel better, because sometimes with this plastic one it almost didn't seem to fit correctly for me. It was a little bit too baggy or a little bit too tight. It's still comfy, it's still a nice watch and it's still comfy to wear and it's still very good at what it does, but I do actually think that they've upped the game with this, and they've got two, whereas this didn't have any bands to tuck your thing, and this has just got a clip there that you sort of pop into the thing, into the holes. That didn't always line up with me, whereas this has actually got two, what do you call them? Two loops to sort of, like a normal watch would, you know, to kind of like pop it in. There you go. And that stops it from flapping around. So that is actually a big thumbs up straight away. So it feels quite nice. I say, with it being that shape around the wrist, it does actually sit to the wrist very, very nice. So I'm going to take the front off. Taking this away from Neil. Poor Neil. And actually, it just looks like a normal watch. It looks a lot better to use for everyday use than the V3. And I think that's what it's intended for. It's intended to be used more of a watch rather than just solely a GPS that you would use on the course. And I know this has got the watch facility as well, but because of the shape of it, it looks like a GPS watch. It looks like it belongs on a golf course or in a sports facility. This just looks like, well, it just looks like a Garmin. Look at me with all the watches. So yeah, they have upped the game quite a lot, I think, with this. No, I like it. I do like it. Now, I've been using the Garmin as well as this purely because I did a trek last year, so I bought this so it could count my steps and I could track my activity for training. which it did very, very well. And then after I'd got it, I found that it had got the golf app on it. So I used it, if I've just gone out for a knock around, I'll use the GPS on this. If I wanted to track my shots, obviously I'd use my V3. What the Garmin does have, sort of going a bit off track here, is it obviously caters for more sports than just golf. So if you just want a watch that's any sort of sports, for cycling, etc., then obviously the Shotscope isn't going to cover that because it's not designed for that. The Garmin's are sports watches. But I'm not going to lie, I've used the golf on it and I've used the time. I don't use anything else on it. So it's a lot of money for me to have spent purely just to kind of like count my steps. I'd have been a lot better. There's probably cheaper options on the market I could have got, but the fact that I'd got the golf on saved me a lot of faffing around. However, back to the Shotscope, because it's, if you're obviously golfers watching this, it does what you want on the course. It tracks your shots. It's just GPS if you just want to do GPS, if you're just having a bit of a knock around, you want to sort of test your distances and a bit of a gap in session. But also it's a normal watch, so you can just wear it for everyday use. Now battery wise, it says it's got two, you can do it for 2 rounds before it needs charging. But again, if you're wearing it all week as a watch, and then you're going for a round on Saturday, chances are it's probably going to still have the charge in it because you've not played golf all week. It's just in watch mode. So let's have a look. I'll take it back off and let's have a look at what it looks like when it's turned on. It is, I think it is a better designed clasp than that one. It's slightly different shapes, as you can see. It's got a little bit of a crest there, and it's metal as well, whereas this is plastic, so it should be more hard wearing. I do actually like that. I do like the back actually. It's kind of like all moulded into one. I don't know if you can see that. Very nice. Right, let's get it turned on. Right, in fact, I'll hang on a minute. I'll go to what's in the rest of the box first. So if you wanted me to turn it on, wait a bit longer. So you've got your charger, which is a USB charger, straight into the USB port, which I think most things nowadays come with purely just a USB charger. Even phones, you don't even get a plug with phones these days. So tags. So the V3 comes with your box of tags, and this comes with a box of tags. So they have changed the box slightly of the tags. I just want to have a look and see if there's a difference in size, because they do look a little bit bigger. You can hear a bell, it's the dog. She keeps bringing the bell to go out. She's just mugging me off. I'm not letting her out. So that was the old tag. See that? And the new tag is slightly bigger. Slightly bigger on depth and the circular. So if you can see, this is the new one. This is the old one. So what I would suggest you do, if you are moving from a V3 to the X5, you change all your tags. What they do actually suggest anyway, even if you're changing from one V3 to another V3 or whatever, always change your tags to the new tags, because they can change the technology within the tags, and it's improving all the time. So it's it uses RFID in this. They never need charging. So it's, the more the technology goes on, sometimes it used to like miss shots, but because the technology is getting better, it's not missing shots as much or at all now. So always make sure whatever product you change to, change your tags to the new one. So that's what I'll be getting Neil to do when he comes home tonight. Change his tags. So back to the instructions. Quick start guide. Even Sevi loves it. So you need to download the Shotscope app. Insert the tracking tags before you play, and how to wear your watch correctly. Wear on your left wrist if you are right-handed, and right hand if you're right wrist if you're left-handed. Okay. So, in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the watch on. I'm going to put the camera on my wrist so you can actually see what I'm doing, and then we'll kind of talk through it a little bit more, I think. Right. So I've had a look, and it comes in black, white, and blue and grey. And there's a midnight colour and a classic colour. It just basically means that one's got like a silver bezel and one's got this black bezel. I think I quite like the black bezel. It looks a little bit more sleeker. So, let's have a look then. So I'm wearing it on my left wrist because I'm right-handed. So it is touchscreen as well, just to note. So that's a massive improvement on the old one. This isn't touchscreen. This new one is touchscreen. So 2A to push in is scroll up and down. Sorry, that's on and off, scroll, and then I think you must twist, yeah, you twist it. That's to scroll up and down through your pages. And then 3 is your back button to kind of go back to your previous page. But again, if it's touch screen, it can probably do that on the screen anyway. So let's turn it on. Have a look. Connect to Shotscope mobile app. So I'm going to load my Shotscope up. This is where it says you need an update. Right, connect to device. So you see it says on there, connect to Shotscope mobile app. Connecting. Connected. So let's put this number in. 569065. Don't think you can do anything with that number as well because it's just a randomly generated number, which when you do it on yours, it will just generate a random number for yourself. So I'm now connected. I'm paired anyway. Let's see what it does. Right, so I did have to just shut this down and restarted it again. So it's asking me what device I am connecting. So I'm connecting X5 GPS performance and tracking. Update your firmware, of course I do. Right, firmware is now updated and we are now connected back to the watch. So we're setting it up. So we've got time mode, we want to go 24 hour. Distance in yards. Yes. Continue. So you've got a tutorial if you want it. So any courses that I've got on my app, I need to re-download to the phone. If it's not mapped, you can actually ask it to be mapped and it'll be done within 5 days, which is really good. So this is showing all my courses in a minute. So I'm going to click ready to sync. I'm just going to sync the ones that are closest, like my own course. Because a lot of these I don't need to sync at the minute, I only need that particular one. So it's updating the course, you can see on the screen. Do not turn away. And actually you can see around the edge, it's got like the blue line that's going around to kind of like say when it's updating, it's like 50%, 60%, etc. It did that when I did the firmware, when it was updating, it said firmware updating and it did like a time around the edge of the screen. So you can see how long it's actually taking to do. There we go. Done. So that's the only one I'm going to sync for now. Oh. Skip tutorial. Right, tags. So asking about tags. Match each tag to the corresponding club and screw into the grip. So again, we'll need to do that later. So it's now complete. So you can see we've got the time, it's 3:38 on Friday, March the 24th. Check my phone. Yes, it's 3:38, Friday 24th of March. And I've done no steps. So this is where it's improved on the last one. It's a pedometer as well, so it can count your daily steps, which some people quite like that. I mean, I do actually like the feature because it shows that you're actually doing some exercise and you're not just sat on your rear end all day. And I think that's what helps to take it from just a GPS golf watch to an everyday watch, because you can actually change your screen as well. We'll have a go at doing that in a minute. Right, so if you scroll either way, it tells you your battery, your Bluetooth's connected, and how many steps you've done. If I scroll up or down, right, so there's my menu. I wonder if this does it as well. So if I click the side one, that does the same as flicking up. So you can use this little toggle on the side, and that'll tell you what you want to do. So when you want to go and actually play golf, you'll select that one. Either press the middle button there or select play golf. So don't forget it is touchscreen, so it's a massive improvement. So if I want to change my watch face, for example, if I go to settings, clock face, you see you've also got units in there. So if you want to go somewhere and it says it's in meters, you can change it to meters. That's a little bit annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Right, so yeah, if you want to change it to meters, you can. If you want to change your hand to left, right, you can. If you want to lock your screen, there you go. If you put in scoring, so you can see what your scorecard is. If you want to know what club that you've got in your hand, tick that, and it'll pop up like driver or whatever. And likewise, if you've got one in your hand, read your tag, set your time, units. So again, go to clock face. That's the one it's on now. Oh dear. Maybe it's because I'm touching it. So right, I'm going to go back, click back. I want to try and change the clock face. I've seen some really funky clock faces. Right, if I just use that to... I'm not going to lie, I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, there we go. So that changed it into big time, like that. No steps on there. That's got no steps on. That's like a digital with your, not digital, more of an analog watch face if you prefer that. Oh, I like that one. That's really nice, that one. So that's what it was on. I think I'm going to keep it on that one actually. Right, so click back, and there we go. So it looks like a proper watch. Oh, I really like that. I'm well impressed. So, as I say, if you're going to go on a course, you do that. You click play golf, and you've got GPS and track all GPS, exactly the same as the V3. So, software-wise, I think it's exactly the same, but I'm not going to know until I get out on the course. So, a few observations that I've made is, when it comes to the old one versus the new one, it looks really nice. It looks like an expensive one. I mean, it's not particularly cheap. The retail price is £279, but it's better value for £279 than this one was, I think. It starts up quicker, so I'll just give you a bit of a demo on that. If I do that, no, I don't want history. Right. So if I press that, shut down, yes. Right, so I'm going to turn this one on, she says. Press and hold the top button on the V3 and it comes on fairly quick. Press and hold that one. They're very similar on the startup time, but you can see how different they look, how much nicer this one looks. And the fact that it's customizable, so if you do actually like this display, you can customize that so it actually looks like your old one used to. And it's got the shot scope at the top as opposed to the bottom. It's got all these little numbers around the side, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what they do, but it looks pretty. It just looks like a really pretty watch. Yeah. So what do you think of it? Drop us a comment. What do you think it's they've improved it, or do you think it's do you prefer this one? You know. Other thing is that's actually improved on it as well. When you're looking at the distances, which I'll show you on the course, it shows you your distances to hazards, dog legs and layups now. So that's really, really handy. You know, a lot of courses have got dog legs, so you can actually show the dog legs on it. So you know actually what to take instead of going tiger line, unless you've got the confidence and you've got the bag to do tiger line. But no, it's really good. So I think the most of the rest of the software is very, very similar. So again, once I've come off the course, I will download it and show you that, because if it has changed, I'll need to know if it's changed as well. And I'd rather find out rather than, you know, beforehand, rather than later on when I'm downloading like 4 or 5 rounds. Because I'm a bit lazy, I do tend to do it all in one hit. So, like it. So I do like it. So, what else you need to know about? You can also edit your score mid-round as well. So if you've finished one hole and you got a 4 but you've put a 5, you can go back into your scorecard. So the next thing to do is to get it out on the course, and I'll show you some screen images when we get on the course, because you've got the colour mapping, and you can actually move the pin. So again, there's little things like that have actually changed, and because it's touch screen, I think one thing to take from this is, when you've seen me messing around with it, is the touch screen is very sensitive. So just be careful when you're pressing things, because you have to keep on going back. And I think that's because I've had my finger too close to it. It is very, very sensitive. So just be aware of that when you've got it in the course. But I'll take it out and I'll have a play a few holes with it, and then I'll give you some feedback on the course and see how it plays, how it fares up against the old one. Right, so we've come down to the course to test it out in the real world, so to speak. So I'm just going to show you 2 clubs here. The one on that side is the new one, and the one on this side is the old one. So you can kind of see, excuse that wind, you can kind of see that it's, I think it sits better on the end of the club now. So we'll see how it feels when I'm taking the shots. Right, so this is telling me I've got 410 yards to the middle of the green, 424 to the back, that's 395 to the front. But there's a dog leg. So I need to find out how I get the hazards on. Well, that's something to note. There's a little lock there, yeah, and so it keeps the screen locked, so that if anything touches on your glove, it doesn't affect your buttons. So that little block button there, you can see it. You need to rotate the dial, the bezel, round, and it makes it disappear. Right, so I've got 403 to a bunker and 404 to a bunker. They are at the side of the green. So that'll show you what the last shot was. You've got right, there's a dog leg, 192 yards. So just remember, you need to swipe left and right. And it does keep going back to that, so make sure you're quick with your information. So you press your button, swipe to the left or the right. Right, tells you your layups. But I know I've got a dog leg, 194 yards, so I'm not going to get to that, just to the green anyway. So I'll just hit down to the dog leg. So what we noticed is that's telling us there what the last club I used. So the last one I used was the putter. What I've also found, which is useful, I think if you go into the settings before you set a game off, you can turn that lock off if you want to. If you know you're not going to press the buttons, that's fine. If you go into the game menu, if you keep scrolling to get to the game menu, you can end you around here, which we're going to do. You can go see what your last shot was. If I go onto that, click that, last shot was 15 yards, or 15 foot putt before the little one. If I then go on to scorecard, hole 1 par 5 and I got a 6. I've just clicked it. That thinks I'm going to edit it now, which I don't want to, so I'll just click that. That button's the backup. So I'm 1 over, fine. You can change your hole if you've got 2 holes next to each other and it thinks you're on the wrong one. You can go in there and correct it.
So sometimes I just click over.
Yeah, sometimes
GPS,
it does. Yeah,
automatically. They have done on the previous Shotscopes anyway.
They have, yeah. You can also pause it if you're waiting for something for a long time. You can pause your game. That's where you'll add your penalty shots in as well. I think I may end up removing that lock and see how it goes, to be fair. Yeah, so you can add your penalty shots on there. It tells you what your battery is. I'm saying back to end round. So if I click that, end round, we've been out 20 minutes. It also gives me the option to resume it if I want to, if I've clicked it by accident. I don't want to. I want to end the round. Am I sure? Yes, I am sure. So there we go. I've got 642 steps in. So again, it's recording all my steps at the time as well. And then there we go. So if I go into the settings, sure, in here there's the lock, so you can enable or disable it if you want to. But so it's an option. It's an option there. And then what we'll do when I get home, I will download the data onto the phone and I'll put some screenshots up at the end so you can see exactly what it's tracking and what it's telling me that I'm doing. But also, where you saw the game menu, if you click next to the next screen again, it tells you where you can move the pin position on the flag. But didn't need to do it because as soon as I did the pin collect anyway, it kind of records that at that point. So stay there, and next thing you'll see will be some screenshots of my 1 hole. So I'm quite pleased I got a bogey on, because that's actually a net birdie for me. Hashtag winning. So I've got home, I've opened the app up on the phone and I've synced and paired the watch to the phone. The one screen you've just seen is what it brings up on the screen once it's actually synced. And this is just a selection of the options that you get. So you get a round overview. The bottom of the thing is around statistics, which you don't get until you've actually clicked edited the round. So you'll see on the second photo, the top right hand corner is a little pen mark. Go into that, click that, and it will bring up the cursor to actually start editing. So the third photo is what you see when you click the little pen icon. That's your first screen you come up with. So you've got the details and your scorecard at the top. You need to click the edit and sign off button to then get to the next stage where you start looking at your information to actually sign the scorecard off. So it'll bring the map up first, and you'll see all your shots and the clubs that you've used, and it tells you what distances you've hit all of your clubs. If it happens to miss one out, like if you're like way offline on a different fairway or whatever, it does give you the option on the right hand side. There's a little blue plus button. You can click that, and then it gives you a chance to select your club and select where your shot was, and you can actually kind of input it into it manually. So if you do happen to miss something out for that reason, or if you're taking multiple shots in the same place, i.e. a bunker, and you need to add multiple shots in, you can do that here. And then once you click sign off at the top, it brings you back to the main screen. So you click on it again, and it will tell you that your actual score, and then you scroll down to the bottom and it's just start giving you the actual statistics. So it gives you your fairways in regulations, your green in regulations, And then if you click onto the holes tab at the top, it shows you your map again and just confirms where all your shots are. If you go back to your overview and down the bottom, you can click on course analysis, and then there's a little drop down menu there that says VS null. It brings up this next benchmark page. So once you've actually got more than 9 holes in or a couple of rounds, you can actually look at different scenarios of how it fares up against a 10 handicapper, a 15 handicapper, or even a tour player. And then once you're happy with what you've selected, you click confirm. And then if you go right to the bottom of the screen where it says performance, if you click onto that tab, this is where you can start getting down to the analytics of all your clubs, your tee shots, your approaches, short game, putting, and your actual scoring. So what it'll basically give you is, over time, it'll give you your average distances that you're hitting your clubs. With your P average is your one you want to be going to, and it tells you what your longest one you've hit as well. And then you can also go into your overview, and it tells you if you're on the fairways, left or right. And again, it will sort of like just basically break your game down and see where you're losing shots. Is it on your short game? Are you taking too many shots on your short game? Are you taking too many putts? Are you hitting the rough too much? And again, if you're hitting a lot left or right, it can kind of indicate if you're hitting fades or draws too much. So it gives you ideas of your game where you need to work on, which is a really good tool to have in your. So what's your opinion on the new Shotscope X5?
Well, I always like Shotscope.
Yep.
But the X5 is just, it looks nicer.
I think it's taking it to a whole new level.
It's taking it to a different level. There's more features on it which I like. I like that you've got a scorecard on there as well.
Yeah.
So on the old Shotscope, if you had to remember if you did a shot, or it didn't record.
Because you had to do it when you got home on the editing software.
Yeah.
At least this kind
But at least on there you'll know that you took 6 shots, not the 5.
Yeah.
And then you should be able to work out what you took where.
Yeah.
And what you missed.
Yeah, definitely.
So that should be better. Like I said, the whole idea of you've got your scorecard on your wrist as well, which I think other watches have, don't they now?
Other sports watches have, like Garmin's and stuff.
I like the fact that it marks your steps.
Yeah.
The layups are good as well, like with dog legs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All information, and it's just an all round.
It's a nicer
looking watch.
Would you wear it for everyday wear then?
That's what I'm going to say. You could put it on and wear it and not feel like, oh, I've got a golf watch on my wrist. Yeah. So it's like I say, nice.
So would you recommend? If you saw a review of it and you saw somebody else using it, would you want to go and buy one?
Well, I've sort of like already bought one.
No, I know, but if you hadn't got one, but you'd seen somebody else using it and you'd seen the features, would that entice you to buy one and replace your V3?
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. I think they've stepped it up. They've really put a lot into this, and I think it's a game changer.
Like I say, it's nice. It's definitely a nicer model.
Yeah.
It looks more refined, isn't it?
Yes,
isn't it?
it does. Yeah. So you'd have seen a link at the top of the screen throughout the whole video. If you did want to go and have a look at them Shotscopes, just plug that link into your browser. If you've not seen it, it's golfpr.co/x5. Go and have a look at it and get your orders in, because a lot of the colours are out of stock. It really is that popular. So obviously they will be coming back in stock soon, but get your orders in now while you still can. But no, I hope you enjoyed this. Stay safe, take care, see you next time.